saying I'ma get it, you know I be on the way.
I'm the unicorn man.
Oh man, everybody.
I was trying to come up because we have Jakey Poo, and I was like, I don't want to just put
Saying I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. Yeah.
Team
So,
Mom. That's right.
Trey
That's what I
made
should
that.
put.
Yeah, Trey made it up.
So I wasn't gonna put the names on the graphics and just put the slogans. That's what I
Yeah.
should have done.
Yeah,
Should have put Team Mom.
Team Mom.
It would have
Man.
been funnier. Are you ready?
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of Ride the Rebellion, the world universe, the known universe's only Zero Drop podcast. I'm Drew Hall, and we're not forgetting introductions today. With me is, of course, the king of the South Alabama Turndown and current world champ of Ride the Rebellion, friendUro 2022 Part 1. Dale Boyd.
Heavyweight champ.
Heavyweight champ.
Clydesdale Boyd. As Bug likes to call me.
It's still Boyd. That's great.
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
Welcome.
Ladies, gentlemen.
Peoples.
People. Aliens in
Yeah.
the universe.
Yeah, because it's going out there.
That's right.
Once it happens on the podcast,
Elon
it goes
Musk,
out.
Because I know you're listening.
He's an alien.
He sent us an offer.
He did. Yeah. He's buying us. We're proud to announce that Elon Musk is not only buying us, he's buying the Reb. I feel like, oh, take it down.
Everybody be like, what?
I actually just revealed the location of the Reb if you're not paying attention. Yeah, see?
I was waiting for the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I still.
All right.
There's lots of other things.
Wow.
All right, so today on the show, we're going to do what we always do, which is talk about mountain biking, and not even really that anymore. It's just our lives, and we just kind of what all happens around our lives that allows us to ride bikes for fun, potential living, and for your health.
Actually, well, yeah, one of my friends in Ohio actually reached out today and was like, "Hey, when you guys get super famous, don't forget me,
That's
and
great.
like remember to shout me out, like Lake Fit by Andy."
What
And
about your boy that has the famous T-shirt brand, the basketball guy?
Oh yeah, he just started like a couple weeks ago, and now it's blown up too. So we got hoop dreamers everywhere, man.
See,
but my boy Andy, he was like, "So don't forget me," and I was like, "Listen, you are part of the rebellion. You're going against the norm. You're doing something for health and for lifestyle. Like you're the rebellion."
Yeah.
I said, "We'll have you on. It'll be super awesome."
I think it'd be great to have
we
him
could
on.
tell super awesome drunk stories about him and I had church on Sundays.
That's exactly right. That's what we need. I just was listening to, I don't know when this episode drops, so if it is, but I was listening to an interview on Single Tracks, and he brought on a trainer, and I was listening to the trainer talk, and it was kind of fascinating to hear this guy like kind of trash, not directly, but he was trashing certain things. And I thought it would be interesting if we did get a trainer who doesn't know all the mountain bike stereotypes, like all the stuff like VO2 max and power meter, all this crazy stuff. And this guy's like, look, if you are an amateur rider and you're trying to really do your VO2 max, he's like, I hope you have a lot of money to spend because you need to go to a proper place to get properly, he's like, then you got to do that, whatever that crazy ride is. I forget the TRP or whatever they call it, where they do the TPR, whatever
you
it
got
is.
to get your VO2 max.
Yeah, but it's that one where you ride like hard for 20 minutes and that's your evaluation. The threshold, whatever. All these things that pros do that, a lot of people want to imitate, right? And we're guilty of it to some extent. We all are, but
Strava.
It's all just Strava.
It's
yeah.
like my VO2's estimated. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. My Garmin gives me my age, based on it, and it's like, congratulations, you're 42. And I'm like, oh shit, I got a year back.
Right. I mean, my Garmin very rarely takes into account that I wear jean shorts during my rides. So, does it have that kind of?
It's a new option, Garmin for 2023. Include the jorts option. Yeah,
that's the hipster version.
It's a jorts sensor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going aero, so
yeah.
I mean, my VO2 is my VO2 is my body, not my aero ability, but
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing to hear him talk about it, but it would be fun to bring Andy. Is that what you guys
Andy,
doing? It'd be fun to bring Andy on and have him talk about it from just a realistic standpoint, right? Because everybody's different, and most of these trainers, and this guy said the same thing. You can't just take one benchmark and do all that stuff. And we've talked about fitness before on the show, but as we continue to pursue different things in our little world of fun, I have noticed that fitness has paid off, and we'll get around to that. This is not a fitness episode. We promised we wouldn't drill on that forever.
Fitness pizza in my mouth.
Fitness pizza. That's what we're doing, or barbecue sandwiches. Shout out to Colin. But we'll kind of circle back to it here in just a moment. So let's kind of just touch base on things that have happened. So I want to recap a few things because I think
wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this first because you always lead in, but there's a big thing that happened.
Yeah.
that you didn't tell me was happening. It was like you were pregnant, and then the baby just showed up.
Oh yeah, I
It's
bought
like,
a new bike.
wait, we do a podcast about buying a new bike. And I'm sitting there like answering all these cool bike questions.
Oh,
like
it was
when
great
to
help.
buy it, and it was like
great
going
help.
on. And then I show up to the bike park the other day, and Drew has a baby, a brand new baby
Yeah,
that I didn't even know about.
I do have a new bike. I didn't tell anybody about it. We did the podcast, which was in the middle of me doing research. I was stuck. I was like, I don't know how to make a decision. And the stuff that you said, and then I took into consideration my own words and listened to it, and other stuff people said when they listened to the podcast. I got some feedback too. I was like, man, that's all good points. And then I finally pulled the trigger. So I ended up purchasing a 2022 Gorilla Gravity Smash. It's a I don't know if it's an enduro bike per se,
Beautiful bike, is
but
what
it's
it is.
nice. It's an interesting bike. So the chainstay can be changed around on it. I'm going to do a review. I'll do both a video and a podcast version. I haven't got to ride it much because we had a big event, which I was going to lead up to. And so I didn't have a chance, but it is nice to have a new bike and it feels different. I will tell you this. I can tell you with a fact, and this came up in our conversation. You said it. You'll know when you need a new bike. It wasn't just a want. My body physically said, time for a new bike.
Right.
Like I could tell it was time. And I don't know if that was the same way with your Meta or if it was just like,
I'm a obsessive compulsive person.
I just hit that point. I knew. But you sized up too though, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a bigger size.
Did you notice a huge difference in that? From going from that large
yeah.
camber? I mean, camber's a totally different bike.
Yeah, I mean, and I rode the camber yesterday, and I felt like I was on a midget bike.
But yeah.
And I mean, it's cool. It's cool to have options. How about
Yeah.
that? But the Meta is definitely my seat now, my driver's seat,
They won you a championship.
and a championship.
Yeah, we'll
it's
talk
one
about
for
that.
one.
All right, so I'm going to set the stage. New bike day. The reason why I didn't ride my bike is because we had a big event. I didn't feel comfortable. I just got it right before this event. So at the Reb, we had a pilot event, if you will.
Yeah.
We're taking it seriously because we had a champion and we had fun. By champion, we literally, if you guys haven't seen the pictures, make sure you're on our social media pages, which is at Ride the Rebellion. And you can see Dale get awarded his championship belt, which has a ton of views on YouTube, by the way.
Like almost 3,000.
Yeah, I mean it's very popular watching a dude in a unicorn shirt strap a belt to a tall guy.
Man, we are in a closet right now.
It is 100% delightful. But in that whole thing, we had an event. We're calling it the friendUro. It wasn't called the Bro Duro, but we did feel that wasn't as inclusive because we have Carrie.
Yeah.
We have someone that is not a bro. Is a bro, but is not a bro. So we thought maybe friendUro is better. Yeah. And then we talked about how we might expand it. And there's a bunch of stuff to unpack with this event because there's a lot to talk about. There's the fun of it, which we will. We've kind of developed a brand new riding system, which is completely different, levels the playing field. Dale won based on his pure ability to do a couple of things, but it got neck and neck. Like it came down to literally seconds. Like it was which sounds crazy if you know Dale. Dale's an extremely fast rider. So we can talk about Dale's perspective from an athleticism point of view, my view, everybody's perspective, and it'll be fun when we have some others on to talk about. And then we have the system, and then we have like the overall event and what it did community-wise, right? Because it was an interesting thing. Even though we're sort of a closed community at the moment, we're working towards opening that. But even in the closed community, dudes showed up that I haven't seen in forever. Right. That are Reb members that have paid their dues, just rolling up in there and ready to compete. And one of them competed really well. Yeah. Statistically, he was top 3. So let's set the stage. So 9 months ago, if you told me that we would be riding the way that we rode last Saturday, the date of the friendUro, I would be like, there's no way. Because we were coming from, if you think back 9 months, we were literally sitting around trying to figure out a place to go, Jakey Poo and I. We did have Chickasaboga at the time.
We may have just made the Samba video, right?
We had
thought about making a Samba video.
It was around there, yeah. Nah, that was April, so 12, yeah. So 9 months back, almost a year. But we had all done that. We'd all had this great connection. We were like, man, that was a lot of fun. There was a lot of good energy. But we were like, God, I'm missing some things riding wise. And Jake was really, Jakey Poo, as we've talked about, was a spearhead of like, I got an idea. Fast forward, you know the story of the Rev. That's where we are now. But 9 months ago, would have never predicted what happened Saturday. Mm-hmm. What is your takeaway on Saturday? What was your you've done a lot of races. You've done a lot of different stuff. This is a totally different style event. Yeah. What was your takeaway when you think back on it?
This is one of the first few things that we've done. I've got to do in Mobile that I really loved. Like my family could be a part of it. My wife and kids came out. They shook some cowbells. They filmed some things. They held walkie-talkies so they could hear what was going on with the racers.
Hang on one second. I can see something's up with the mic. Talk now.
Hey, yay, yay.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
All right.
I'll have to mix it. Okay, go back in.
So my family could be a part of it. They could. I'll just start over. I'll start that part over.
That's all good.
We ready?
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first event that we've done in Mobile, or I've done in the mountain bike community, that I felt like everybody was there to just have fun, and everybody was there for one reason, and that was just because they were there to laugh and make fun of each other and cheer for each other and kind of be brothers. It's like a brotherhood almost of anything. And our families got to see that, like your parents came, my wife and kids, and other people's wives and kids, and your wife and kids too. And so it was, they shook the cowbells and stuff. And I mean, to be honest, the first segment, I never saw the people.
Right.
Like I went by them so fast.
Oh yeah. And speaking of, you can see Dale's first ride, his stage 1 ride. You can go find it on our YouTube channel at Ride the Rebellion on YouTube. You can find it, and you can see you are going so fast.
Yeah.
And we all know GoPro does not make it look fast.
No.
It looks fast in GoPro.
Yeah.
Like it's
I was
crazy.
actually going to comment on that and be like, yeah, he didn't speed this up.
No, there's no speed up.
So it's just when I went by them, I was like, I didn't see them at all. And then my wife sends me a picture of like my daughter laid on the ground and took pictures when I went by, and I was like, dang, I never even saw her.
Oh, yeah.
Like lucky I didn't wipe out there. But I think that was what was awesome. And every time we'd come back to the top, or every time we'd see each other, everybody had a smile on their face all the time. And that was the contagious part of it.
But what was crazy was we had this plan. So Dale and I had worked on, and you talked about this briefly before, but I think we really talked a lot. There's a couple things that had to happen for this to work. Mm-hmm. Most of the riders out at the Reb have ridden these trails a lot. They've memorized them. And so one of the things that we did, and it was to Dale's point that he pushed this pretty hard, and it was a really great note, was we went out and found alternate paths. Mm-hmm. So there might be some level of familiarity in a portion of the trail. Then all of a sudden we cut a new line, or we adapted an old line, or we Frankenstein some lines and brought stuff back that we thought was dead.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it created whole new courses, which I think were phenomenal, with the exception of Yellow Belly, which was just a brand new course anyway that most people hadn't ridden much.
Yeah, and I think that's what was awesome was like you hear after people's first run, like, oh, I took a wrong turn, or I didn't even know it was going to be that tight right there, but it's because their minds were conditioned to go one way.
Right.
And we put rope up and like, you weren't going that way. You got to turn here. So it was awesome to see that dynamic of, man, I got to actually think while I'm going super fast.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal. I mean, there was a couple where I think people misinterpreted turns and lines, and they'd still miss the line. They're so used to falling, but the actual fastest line was like an outside. Right. The inside was a trick. And there was like little gags that we had built in that we all forgot even when you get it. The thing that I love the most is everyone rode these different tracks, and you're watching this great camaraderie. And we have this system, and we'll explain that in a second, but we have the system where it levels the playing field for everyone. It's really phenomenal system. We're very proud of it. And then competition hits, and you can't stop it.
No, you can't. It was it all came down to the final run for everyone on the last segment.
Yep.
So it was like we had 10 riders left. We had already done 80 runs?
Yeah,
whatever.
80 runs.
So 80 runs total, and it comes down to these last 10. And it was like, I just remember sitting there thinking, damn, like this was fun, but I'm a competitive person, so I'm just like tightening up.
That's exactly right. And so one of the other things about the entire race that I took away from it was that the fact that like we would send these things, we would do all this stuff. It came down to the last one. The competition was there. I mean, literally there was cheering and screaming. Mm-hmm. My last stage for me was I had a near perfect run. So, and again, that goes back to our rule system. And then you had a wreck on that. I mean, it was the stage 3 was so dramatic. There was 2 DFNs on stage 3. Todd Hall didn't finish. Bug went off course. So, I mean, it was like, oh my God, all this stuff is happening all at one time. Mm-hmm. And so it was all building up this tension, and everybody kept pushing. But it was never one time was anybody like mad about anybody else. It was all full on celebrate and push and help.
Sunday, Bug and I were hanging out. Bug was like, I got to the top after I beat your time, and I thought, I saw the look on your face right before the final run, and he goes, wow, there's a different level of his face right now. Like, he's not playing.
Right.
And it was like, no, I'm just an athlete. Like, I'm a competitor. Like, I know when it's time to go.
Yeah, you pushed down that one pretty aggressive.
And that was
You were flying down that one.
painful.
It hurt, and there's no way around it.
Yeah, no.
Because the bottom of that stage was really crazy. So that stage that we're talking about, stage 3, is it starts out pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of downhill action. It gets into a little bit of flow. It has a straightaway, but the straightaway is a trick because at the end of it, it's sandy. So like if you hit this turn too fast, as Dale found out, I found out in testing stages, not one of the worst, but in recent months, one of the worst wrecks I've had was from us just figuring it out, right? And so it got sandy, and then as soon as you come off the sand, you think you get speed again, and then there's a hard 90-degree turn that has been rutted. It's destroyed.
Bad.
People e-braking into it. E-bike e-brakes. Sliding into these turns and pushing. And then you sprint to the bottom, which is crazy off-camber terrain with a jump to finish. I mean, it's a crazy stage. And to know that you pushed as hard as that time was
I went
crazy.
24 miles an hour on that last segment.
It was nuts.
Like a dead sprint.
That's absolute nuts.
Yeah.
And so the thing about all of that is what we found out. And again, I know we're talking about a specific place that not many people have been able to go to. That's not the point. The point has always been we took nothing and made something fun. And it wasn't just that. It wasn't just cool trails we made. Now we made a cool event. And from that cool event, we learned, like, how can we take that further? We want to take it to more people and have them experience it. So we wouldn't be in any of these interesting dialogues if we didn't have the Reb at the beginning, right? And that's for anybody out there. So for the friendUro, the one thing that we figured out is we started gaming some mechanics. And one of the mechanics that we came up with was trying to figure out a way of where it wasn't just about Dale sprinted and did great, but there was other guys out there. We wanted to level the playing field. We have riders from basically every skill level represented, and we wanted to find a way to make it even for everybody. And so we workshopped a mechanic. At first we were going to do bracket racing, and you could explain that better than me. It's like a drag turn.
Yeah, you just kind of guess your closest time, and then you have to get close to it. And that's pretty much it.
And it's hard. It's
really
hard down there because you'd have to
be
time
perfect.
trial and be perfect in order to really do it. So we looked at that and we said, okay, that's one model, and that's what we went with for a long time. And then one day you and I were riding the stages again, and it clicked, and you're like, what if we did 2 out of 3? And you get to drop one. And then all of a sudden that exploded into, what if it's the difference? It's about the difference between your times. So instead of it just being like everybody's go as fast as possible, you can, but you can also find the most consistency, which encourages riding, which makes you stronger, better rider.
Absolutely.
It for everybody involved, and it levels the playing field. Right. So on the last stage, Dale had the fastest time, but there was a guy who's a little bit slower rider than Dale. And me too. I'm a slower rider than Dale as well. I had a 0.6. So the variation between my two best times was 0.06. There was another guy who had a 0.09 or something.
Yeah.
Joey Gates. Like he was right on my. So our times weren't the same. Mine was like 45 point, whatever it was, 20 and 45.26. And his was whatever his was. It was like 51 or something. So what we figured out is the consistency became the way to do it. And then we had a modifier for speed, which Dale's speed was so close together, but it was fastest. It gave him an advantage to kind of but it took that last race for him to do it.
Yeah. Like overall, the whole race for all 3 segments, like Drew was the best.
Right.
Like he was the most consistent.
Yeah, I placed on all 3.
Yeah, he was the most consistent out of everybody that raced.
Well, I was
he had
shocked.
His times on every single time.
Right.
But then we had the modifier for the speed.
Right.
And my times were consistent, but yet I got a modifier because I went fast.
Right.
Because I told everybody, even you. I mean, my wife on the way there, she's like, "You think you're gonna win?" I was like, "I'm not trying to win. Like, I'm just trying to go the fastest.
As fast as I can." Right.
Like, I want to be the fastest person.
But
on
you
every
didn't
segment.
make but one mistake all day.
You
had one mistake, that one slide out, and that was the only mistake. But the risk was at that speed.
Yeah.
Like, again, if you guys go watch stage 1, you can see Dale picks it up, but Dale hits a turn early on in Montucky. You hit a tree or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you take off again. Point is that consistency model, in this case, Dale proved that he was the most consistent with speed at the end of the day. That speed modifier bumped him into saving it. Because you might have had a small variation. They were like a second and a half. But because they were there. So we've modified it even further, and we've tweaked more, and we've done more. That system, though, made it where everybody was having fun, and you're really competing against yourself.
Right.
And then we all started competing against each other. So it's like you challenge yourself first, and now you're looking to beat the other players.
That's right. And it was, but no one ever was like, I'm faster than you or I'm better than you. And I mean, Bug was trying to go faster than me, and I was trying to go faster than him. And that's awesome. And that's perfect for me. Like, I want somebody to try to go as fast as me or as whatever. But when you start getting to that level, like, the risk goes higher.
Right.
You know, like, I could slow down and probably get my times really close. But the only way that I personally can measure how fast I'm going is if I'm going as fast as I can. Right. Like, I can't slow down and be able to measure that. Like,
so we should also mention there's no timekeeping devices on your bike. Like,
no.
you couldn't anyway.
No,
but you couldn't. Like, I had my watch running, but it was just on the clock. I just wanted to see what my caloric burn was. But I couldn't have a bike computer where you glance down and be like, oh my God, I need to stay at 7.8 miles an hour. There's no way you can do it.
Like, I did have my bike computer on there. You'll see it in the video, but there's no way I could look at it. Right. There's literally no way. Right. And I was going so fast that, like, there's no way I could have sped up or slowed down to even try to match it.
So we weren't really concerned with that stuff. It was more about, like, pushing forward. And so when we started that stuff and we started looking at it, that's once we finished the race, we realized we had to tweak a few things, and we will, and it's better. And that system will get more and more developed, and we can't wait to bring it public. We have ideas. Yeah. We have ideas for XC. We have ideas for, it'll work in a bunch of different formats. So we're really proud of the system that came out of this. But the great part was it levels the playing field. Right. So I'm not here saying that speed isn't important. Mm-hmm. It is very important. But what we're saying is this allows riders of all category to have fun riding and compete against anybody. Right. Like, I'm not saying I'd ever beat the soft member, but technically speaking, I'm pretty sure he's pretty consistent. But let's just say he had an off day.
He's psychotically marine oriented.
Yeah, he's a anyway. But let's say I could beat the machine. If I could beat the machine, then I mean that's my only chance to really do it. Right. And it makes it say, for riders, it keeps saying encouraging you to ride more and more and more and more so that you get better and faster. Because my goal now is to go faster.
Yeah. Right? And now, like, you have to build the skills to do it.
That's right.
Right? Like, you have to. I took a class. I went on Saturday. I take a class on Sunday to learn how to corner better or learn how to brake better. Right. Like, I'm never stopped learning. Like,
I want to talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah. I want to continue learning, because once you stop learning, then what's the point?
No, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, it's crucial to be in that space and have that kind of.
Plus, you can't show up on a $7,000 bike and look like a douche.
Oh, facts.
Douche.
For facts.
It's like,
don't be a douche on that bike, bro.
It's just hard to. Yeah. I have to live up to it.
It's kind of like getting a proper tattoo, like something you're like if you get a sleeve. You kind of gotta wear that sleeve well,
right?
You know?
Yeah, you can't get the sleeve in your kitchen and then show up at a tattoo show and be like, "What's up, bro? My buddy Paul tatted me up in the kitchen."
Fuck you, Paul.
I don't even know any Pauls.
Anyway, so that was kind of the model, and so what we took away from it from a fun side is then we fed everybody. So we had and then we sat around and we drank some beers. We had some Montuckies, which we don't get here. And that was kind of a gag for all of us. And so it turned into this big community event.
That was what more fun than the racing to me was just like hanging out, like BS.
All around it, yeah.
And like Barry Page just started hanging out Thursday, but he has so many stories of mountain biking and with mountain bike people, and hanging out with him was awesome, and like hearing that stuff and just seeing all the different, we have people from 60 to 22 or 3, and everybody meshes well, and it's just a thing, you know, and it's fun.
And we had, I mean, literally everyone bounced around. It felt safe. We even, for the ladies, and because my wife refuses to pee in the woods, though she would. But we had a porta potty, and we were very proud of that fact. We made sure that we just made sure that, guys, there's a porta potty. Please use it. Don't pee in the woods.
Bug was peeing in the woods, and I was like, I will tackle you in that pee. Exactly. Boy, there's a porta potty over there.
We spent hard-earned money on that.
That's right.
So anyway, it was nice to have this buildup of community, to have the structure, and it was very simple. And it got me thinking, that was kind of a recap. It got me thinking about something, which is, I think, often overlooked. We always talk about community, right? And it's easy to have organized rides. Mm-hmm. We talked about that. And I think you guys have something fun coming up. You're going to do Sundays, maybe? Is that official?
Yeah, it's not official yet, but we're thinking about it.
So coming up, but one thing we found is an organized event from time to time does wonders for pulling everybody in, right? It seems to be, You know what I mean? So
I've
it's
said
almost like
this-
now I want to do more and more of them because it
Yeah.
wasn't that hard. Once you have a formula for how it could work, it's a little bit of labor and you got to love it. But like that seems like a great way to get everybody together, not just an organized ride. I'm talking about you got to have a little purpose.
Well-
So we had training days up ahead of it.
Right, yeah.
There was like weeks where
Work
people
days.
we had work days to build. There was all these things that happened and it brought us all together closer. And then it was like a wedding in some ways. We got to celebrate that day. And it was when it was over, I was like, damn, I wish I
Yeah.
could do it again.
Right.
You know?
And I keep saying this, and I've said it over and over again about the community thing. And I tell this to the soft member all the time. It's like the only way you can get trail work done is not from a Facebook post,
Right.
and it's not from how many members you have, and it's not from hey, Emba's membership drives. It's not from any of that. It's from a community event. It's from like, hey, the FNL stuff, what we started a long time ago. We didn't know each other like we know each other now.
Right.
Now we're friends.
Right.
Now, if you guys have a work day at South or anywhere or at the Reb, and I don't show up, I let you down, and you're my friends. Like,
Right.
I don't want to let my friends down. Before, it's like, oh, I just joined Samba. Like, I don't have it. Like, I'm not going to let anyone down,
Right.
you know? So when you do community events, the only way to get trail work, volunteer trail work, is to make them all friends.
That's right.
And if they're all friends, then they'll be more apt to show up because they don't want to let people down.
That's exactly right.
And that's how that's any community that you live in, wherever you're at. Like, if you want to get work done, make them friends.
Yeah.
And however you can do it to make them friends.
Right.
And
it's also like not pushing it too far. The one
No.
thing that we've always done is we've always believed in this is dig and ride model.
Yeah.
Like let's do a little work, let's have some fun.
Right.
Instead of it just being like work, because after a while, like everybody will jump in on the beginning, the friends will kick in,
Yeah.
and then they're like, but man, what's my payoff for this?
Right.
Right. And a lot of times with mountain biking, especially trail work,
I try to do this with my wife. Like, I've
Yeah.
been doing the laundry all day and the dishes. What's my payoff? She just stares at me.
yeah, I completely understand.
There's no
I get there's dishes still in the sink. That's what I get. Like, dang it.
She's like, well, that's your job.
Yeah.
So do it.
Do some laundry. And I'm like, I do my own laundry. That's why I mix everything together and all my shirts bleed.
I know Casey's mumbling right now. He doesn't even do the laundry or dishes. I do. Like, so fair enough, Casey.
Fair enough. Touche.
Whatever.
Touche.
You got 3 days off a week. What do you want from me?
3 days. So I think it's interesting though that if you don't have some fun in the other side of it, after a while people lose interest. But mountain biking, it's a long-term payout. It's not instant. I mean, think about some of those trails. Some of the trails that we brought back, we Frankenstein these, were Gen 1 trails.
Yeah. They
That
were
have not been ridden in forever.
they were like goat trails.
They were good
How we
trails.
got out of when we were building the other trails.
That's exactly right. And then they became like now they're super fun lines that I'd ride over and over again. Maybe they get closed again. I don't know. But the fact is we had to put in the effort to get them there, and it took that much time. And then some other trails like Yellow Belly, which is a newer trail we have out there, it's got one of the steepest downhill segments. It's hard and scary and fast. That trail is relatively new, and y'all cut it pretty quick though.
I did it.
You
one day, I
monstered it,
think.
yeah. You monstered that one. But still, it took a while, and luckily that dirt didn't need to be bedded in. Like some of our other stuff has like this loam on it and has to be bedded in, but some of the other trails have just gotten faster and faster and faster. So
The funny thing is that everybody has that. This isn't on the racing thing. This is kind of just the trail thing. People are like, oh, we know who built the trails now. Like if you ride a trail out there, like you know who built it,
Yep.
or who laid it out. Because like my trails always have a really tight like.
Yeah.
There's somewhere in there that's like, oh, I got to actually use my brakes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's just how I have operated.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It's fun though. I mean, it's good, and I mean, you definitely can spot a Jakey Poo trail versus.
right.
I like all the flowier stuff, and so after a while, you do start to develop sort of styles, and it's fun. We represented everyone's trail style, and it was again being mindful of that and thinking about the people riding and making it. You may not get to know all your riders as well as we do, but knowing what was going to come out and try and make it different and interesting and challenging.
And more importantly, like take the competition aspect out of everything.
Right.
Like you can have a race. I'm air quoting race.
Yep.
You can have a race and make it fun.
Absolutely.
Like it doesn't have to be so cutthroat and everybody has their team local bike shop kit on and they're trying to like represent something. Like it can be competitive and still fun.
Right.
Like I think that gets lost in a lot of races that I go to. That's why Skyway has a thing for. I love Skyway, Like literally no one cares if you got first or last. Like
Right.
you finished.
Right.
It's like high fives for everybody.
Yeah.
Like the dudes that got first, everybody just looks at them like, damn, like you're a monster. But no one cares. So, but there's a beginning and an end. So there's a race, right? So you still have to have that aspect or that mindset. Like I have to try to win. I'm not going to,
Right.
or I might just compete. And the competition might be with yourself. Your bike and Mother Nature.
Exactly right. And the model that we had, it was 100%. You were literally riding against yourself and then other people. Like after you performed well, if you performed the best that you could most consistently, then you would be like, oh, I ranked. And I mean, it was a whole different beast altogether of like, I mean, you can't count it. You can't rig it. It's impossible. You're just trying to do your best to maintain optimum speed,
Right.
whether it's super fast or moderate fast.
Optimum male athletic performance.
That's exactly right. Oh boy.
Wow, at
Now-
40.
Now we're a pill. We're a PP pill company.
You
apparently.
can pick us up at every convenience store. Cash
And you
register.
too can ride the rebellion. Oh no,
Wow.
it happened. That's our only dick joke for this episode.
Oh, well.
We have a one quota PP joke.
And one quota Casey joke
And
at this point.
yeah, we're pretty solid. Yeah, and we've hit both.
Yeah.
We're there. Luckily, they weren't together.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
Casey, I'm sorry. That was a 2 quota joke. That was 2 quota. So let's talk about another thing. So we finished that up. We all walk away. We're super motivated. And then the next day, you'd mentioned it earlier, you went and rode at Dirt Coaster Academy with the world famous Toby Cortez. What was that whole experience like?
So it was way cooler than I expected, to be honest. Like, no offense, Toby, if you're listening, but like, I just thought, what do I need to know about mountain biking? Like, I ride really fast. I have a WWF championship belt.
Right.
Like, you want to see it?
Right.
So when I got there, it was like, all right, I'm just here for the community. You know, there was 8 other people there. I thought I'll just help build the camaraderie. We go do like the first thing and I do it completely wrong. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you got to do it like this. I'm like, oh, so I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
Right.
So they even adjusted my brakes and my handlebars a little bit differently set up. And there was things that I never would have thought about that I was like, damn, like I don't. And for any level of mountain biker, I think that his classes and what he's teaching are awesome. And we got to see progression from people during the day, you know, like
I saw a photo.
Yeah.
I saw a photo of a dead sailor riding that bike, and then I saw one that looked like he was sending it.
Yeah, Bug improved and learned his bike balance and bike body balance and body separation. And Cassidy went from rolling over. She's in one of our videos.
Yeah.
One of the sweet potato videos where we all jump it. Drew's filming. And everybody's like, and Drew's like, yeah. And then she comes and she said we discussed it the other day. We nicknamed her Psych because in that video, she just looks like she's going to hit it. And then she goes around it and says
Right.
Psych.
Yeah.
So we were just joking that like now her nickname's Psych.
Yeah, it's great.
So she went from literally rolling over a box that Toby had to jumping the biggest gap that every dude jumped that day.
Right.
And it was like, she would have never known how to do that without that class. And that was, to me, that's what's awesome. And Toby's enthusiasm to see like the progression and like how happy he was for her. Like that's why he does it.
Right.
Like, he's not getting rich off of it, and he's not trying to do it for any other gain other than like the love. He loves mountain biking.
Yeah.
And we've discussed it. We're going to have him on
Oh yeah.
soon so you'll hear his passion, and it's contagious.
It bleeds through. If you ever have a chance, if you're in the Southeast and you have a chance to go ride Bogchito, it's
if
a
you're
fantastic
in Canada
place.
and you want to ride somewhere that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no
come on
joke.
down.
Yeah, come on down. Yeah. And the crazy part is if you're really lucky, look for the most enthusiastic person out there,
That's
and
right.
you will find Toby. And the first time Todd and I rode, we got very lucky and met him. He apologized profusely because we're out there and, we're all we're like a downhill, we've got like our jerseys and our loose hanging shorts on and flats. And he was in spandex. He was like, I got to apologize, guys. I'm about to go ride XC. He was telling us, but he was so helpful then. And this is pre-Reb. This is pre all of this stuff, that words he gave to me about like expanding and building and finding new land were so inspirational. I came back super motivated. I was like, it was a fantastic thing. So I can only imagine having him as a coach being super awesome.
Because he brings that same energy to what he's teaching.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's talking about. Like, he proved it. He went to Jared's place and won the Enduro race, their first Enduro race there. So he walks the walk,
Yeah. He's a fun guy. He's super fun to ride with. So that's kind of this episode. But before we go, we've got to do a couple of things. The first thing we got to do is give a huge shout out to the friendUro sponsor of Clean Eats. They sent us some wraps and stuff, and Dale and I both found now I'm gonna call him out a little bit. Mr. Mackey, I thought he was going to attend, and John is a vegan. No, he's not a vegan.
He's not a vegan.
He's a vegetarian. He hates it when you say that. John's a vegetarian, so I ordered John a black bean wrap because our meals were from Clean Eats, and they were meat protein mostly, and then we had a smoked pork butt from my brother-in-law, 2 of them from my brother-in-law that we devoured. Those didn't last long. No. They were delicious, but I ordered these black bean wraps. And these Clean Eat black bean wraps, I think we solved it.
So good.
It was like, and this was after the race. We've had a couple of drinks. They were so good. They reminded me of a healthy version of the Taco Bell drive-through bean burrito.
Wait, that's not healthy?
Right. I felt so good. I mean, they were absolutely. So there was 2 left when I went home.
Oh man,
I crushed them that night.
Those things were so good.
They were so good.
I love you, John. I wish you were there, but I'm glad you weren't.
Yeah, no kidding.
Smashed those things.
Those were perfect. They hit the spot so well.
Yeah.
So we wanted to thank Clean Eats for their sponsorship. It was very great for them to help us with that. We had a great lunch. Or a snack, I should say. And a lot of guys ate them mid-race. I can't eat during the race. I just, not that kind of race.
I drank a beer mid-race.
I did too. I had a Montucky and it was perfect. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. I crushed a bunch of Montuckies I crushed a lot of beers that day. But I looked at my caloric intake and I was at like, when we called finish, I was at like 1,800 calories. So we'd put in some time. Yeah. There's no doubt. That was a lot of up and downs.
Dead sprints, man, for a half hour.
Blitzing. It was crazy. Total 90 total laps.
Yeah.
Is that right? No, because we had 3 times 11, so 99, almost 100 total. Because Cooper showed up.
Oh yeah.
With a helmet.
Yeah, Cooper had a helmet on.
And then the last one, it was unstrapped.
Of course.
It's just like
rebel without a cause.
He's got a helmet though. Blake showed up and Blakey Poo, and he sent it. And you have Jakey Poo and Blakey Poo. So anyway, shout out to Clean Eats, and thank you very much for that. As always, we're also always sponsored by Lucky Shot Coffee. I saw that David got his prize pack, and he now has a delicious bag of Lucky Shot. I can't wait to get more of that to give away.
He won. He got his prize pack, but he lost because he had to actually ride with me to get it.
That's hilarious.
So he had to ride
on
with
a tandem bike?
Yeah, no, not on a tandem.
How about the kid's shotgun bike where you put the kid on?
We're getting one of those.
I will totally do it. I think it'd be hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
We got to find a bike we don't mind destroying.
I have hardtail.
Oh. So if you ride the shotgun seat,
it'll look like we actually care about mountain biking.
Oh my God. Okay.
Drew's first turn down coming soon.
Here it is. Dale's turn down instruction school.
Yeah. Watch out, Toby. I'm coming for you.
Oh my God. You have grown men on this little shotgun saddle and you just turn it.
Yeah, like Toby's classes require a dropper post. Right. Our classes require a trailer or a tandem.
Oh my God. A trailer's even better.
A trailer would be awesome.
You just put somebody in there and go.
Bug can surf it from the back, just holding on.
That'd be hilarious. That'd actually be a fun idea.
Man, this is how things happen, by the way.
Dangerous.
You know, like a lot of people sit around and get high and they're like, oh, we should open up a sub shop. Like, it'd be so good. And they never do it. We sit around and not be high.
Right.
And think about these crazy ideas.
That's exactly right.
That become reality.
Speaking of crazy ideas that become reality, we've got to announce our hand up glove winner, which we're going to do. Okay, and so with that contest, the question we had was, is it Star Trek? Is it Star Wars? It started with lore, which is in fact Star Trek, just so you know. That's Data's brother.
Okay, fair enough. Sure.
And then we had Chopper, which is from Rebels. I thought your kids would know. I think your kids have watched the cartoon.
Chopper is Danny Trejo to me for life.
Fair enough. And Danny Trejo was the Mandalorian, so it worked. And the last one was Mandalore. I was trying to throw you a trick. It didn't work. You got it anyway. Woo, and obviously Star Wars. Dale said Star Wars for everything. We had someone who won, and that individual is Michael Falk.
That's right.
Michael, you've won some hand-up gloves. You got the answers correct. It is Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Wars. You left a review on Apple Podcasts, which was part of the requirements. You did everything you need to do. So we have a sticker pack, which is pretty awesome. I'm even going to throw in a Gorilla Gravity sticker because I have one now.
Ooh.
Or extra. And then we'll give you whatever our other sticker pack is. It's got hand-up stickers and all kinds of stuff. And a new set of Americana gloves, which will go great with your bike.
That's right.
And you can ride to your heart's content.
And they match. Yeah, they do match his bike perfectly.
Yeah, they match it pretty well. It fits him.
That's right.
He's very America.
America, man.
America. Okay, so I don't think we're going to do a contest this week. We're going to put it on hold on the podcast. However, I think we might do a contest on social media. So make sure you're following us at Ride the Rebellion across the board. You can find it everywhere. And again, just to reiterate, I know we talk a lot about a bike park, but really the Rebellion is not that. The Rebellion is transformed from that. It is mutated. It has become better. It is enhanced. It is the Bionic Man or person. It's a movement now at this point.
Ride the Rebellion is wherever you want it to be.
That's exactly right.
Coming to a parking lot near you soon.
Yeah.
Like
and shout out to the fact that you can literally come to the parking lot near you soon. We have a bunch of merch available. If you go to ridetherebellion.com, you can have a piece of the Rebellion. So there's a bunch of original stuff. There's podcast shirts. There's all kinds of things. All that stuff is available. However, we do have a set of what we're calling trail sponsor shirts. So they're pretty cool artwork. Original artwork by Dale. Original artwork by Montucky, but Dale reused. We'll see how long that one lasts.
Cease and desist.
There's an original artwork of bombing it. There's a bunch of different pieces. In each one of those shirts, we'll take a portion of that and we'll apply it towards the trail fund. So yes, you're helping us, but you're getting a cool shirt and you're going to be part of a club at that point.
Right. And
frankly, if you're smart enough and you buy the shirt and you hit us up enough and be like, hey, I bought a shirt. Can I come ride the Reb? We could probably make that happen for you. I'm not saying it costs that much to come ride the Reb. I'm just saying.
Not blackmail every single person into buying shirts.
Shamelessly plug it in.
That's right.
But if you did help the trail, it would go a long way. So that stuff's available. Again, you can go to ridetherebellion.com. We own that website. It's legit. You can find the podcast there. Sometimes there's video content there. In fact, there is always video content. I have it set up. And you can also find our merch store. There's hats, shirts, all kinds of great stuff. And there's more coming.
Yeah, we got tons of YouTube stuff coming soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of content coming out. Yep.
So much stuff that Drew's people are sorting out.
Yeah, we hired people. I didn't have to film it this time so I could have fun. That also made it more fun for me.
That's right.
My therapist said that's what I have to do now. She's like, you can't have...
My therapist quit.
She gave up day one. She's like, you effed, boy.
Yeah.
You effed.
She's like, wow, I am not prepared for this.
Yeah. I had one quit on me before.
Man.
Yeah, they legitimately were like, I think you should see someone else. And
I walk in and they're like, there's a blue pill and a red pill. Choose wisely.
And then they put you in some really tight leather bondage stuff and you move on with life.
I'm dodging bullets from the man chasing me.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else we need to touch on?
No, I think there's so much we could touch on. We'd be here all day.
Yeah.
But we got stuff to do.
We got more podcasts.
Big things to do.
Yeah, that's right. All right. As always, keep riding. I mean, we don't really have a great close. We just don't have a close. Like,
no, just ride on, keep on.
Yeah.
Keep on keeping on.
Ride the Rebellion near you or ride your own
Create
Rebellion.
Create the Rebellion.
Yeah, make your own Rebellion.
Just ride your bike.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb.
We don't have a good close.
No.
That's
ride with us.
phase 3. We'll work on a good close.
Yeah, that's phase 3. We have a lot of phases.
We're not even in phase 1.
That's also what my psychiatrist said. You have a lot of phases.
Okay. All right, this is Drew, and I'm joined again with the king of the South Alabama Turndown and current world champion of the friendUro, Dale Boyd, and we'll sign off.
Peace.
I'm on the way.